Hello, everybody. I hope that you can see me. I am going to attempt to share my screen here and jump into our agenda for this week. So if you were not on last week, you missed the message that I'm out of state this week. And so I am doing a quick little virtual thing through Zoom for you to kind of watch. So here's our agenda for this week. We're really not going to do a ton on here. This is more for a check-in of if you care, there'll be a little task for you to do basically, so I know that you watched this and you are following along. So this week is all about chapters 5 and 6 in your textbook. So chapter 5 is picture books. It's definitely my favorite chapter in the book just because picture books are my favorite. So definitely make sure that you kind of look through there, make sure that you know how to teach with picture books, know how to motivate students to write using picture books as models. And then chapter 6 is about traditional literature. And usually that's the majority of the discussion is the 4 main types, which would be fables, folktales, legends, myths, and there's a big part in the chapter about folktales around the world. So Russian, French, German, etc. So make sure that you check that out for quiz purposes. Our authors this week are Dr. Seuss and Mo Willems. You can kind of see them both here. So Dr. Seuss, almost everyone knows, don't need to spend a ton of time. But his pen name is Dr. Seuss. His real name is Theodore Seuss Giesel, which not a lot of people know. And then Mo Willems, who we talked about briefly last week, I believe it is, he is an American writer, animator, voice actor, and a creator of children's books, and has very popular series. Hi, buddy. Do you want to come and say hi? Just come a little closer. See up here?
Who is that?
Those are my friends. Can you say hi?
Hi.
They're not on there right now, but they will be.
Did you just walk in here?
He did. Yep. He's gonna go back now and do what he needs to do. You made this for me?
I was looking at your lesson here. I have these blocks in my room.
I'm actually recording right now. Hey, you're okay.
I am not doing it with you.
Come here. Come here really quick.
I don't want to do it with her.
Okay, but listen, do we get to scream like that at Mrs. Randolph?
I don't want to do it.
Look at me. Do we get to scream like that at Mrs. Randolph? What do you need to tell her? What do you need to tell her for screaming at her? Huh? You wouldn't scream at me like that. You don't get to scream at anybody like that. What do you tell Mrs. Randolph? Can you say sorry? Huh? Okay, let's do it. Getting a mixed response there. Okay, well, I'm recording, so thank you for this picture, but you are going to need to go and take a break in the other room, and whether that looks like working, it being 2:15, I would say let's try not to, but whatever you, I don't know what's happened prior, so. Oh, okay, wonderful. Okay. Thanks, friend. And that's how some days go around here, guys. I wanted you to see that lovely little moment. But Mo Willems is one of my favorites. Absolutely love him. Elephant and Piggy, the pigeon, Knuffle Bunny. One of the activities that I usually do on the Zoom call is what I'm going to ask you to do for your attendance. So you're actually going to get on YouTube, and I would like for you to go to just type in Elephant Gerald, Gerald, directed drawing. Okay, and there's several directed drawings on there you can choose from where you will actually follow along and be an illustrator, draw Gerald, and then you need to do the same thing with Piggy. Directed drawing with Piggy by Mo Willems, and that will come up. And I would like for you to physically get out a piece of paper and crayons or a pen or a Sharpie or whatever and draw them. And that is what you'll take a picture of and then upload it to a Canvas message, and that will be your attendance for this week, okay? So super fun, but directed drawings are a great way to get kids involved. Those that might not be as strong in writing, they get to show that they are illustrators in that way. So that is what you need to do for attendance. Obviously, don't forget about your virtual library assignment. You should have a partner kind of picked out for that. Please send me your partner and your name. I've only heard of one partnership right now. So please make sure that you know who that person is by Thursday of this week. If you don't, make sure that you are reaching out. Obviously, everyone's name is listed in our attendance. You should be able to send messages within Canvas to anyone in the class to come up with that partner. And then make sure that you keep up with Fish in a Tree and you're reading there. Our discussion boards this week, we're going to keep going with who's doing the work. So there are 4 articles posted in module 4 that you'll read over guided reading, and then posted a discussion board. And then there's also one on infographics, which is similar to directed drawings in that it's a great tool to get kids writing. So that's what you're going to do this week for your Canvas messages or Canvas discussions. And then I want to jump into SEL this week. So I'm going to share my screen bigger here for a minute and talk about social emotional learning through literacy. And this will be the speed version, okay? And I'll attach these slides so you guys can look back through them. So we're going to talk about what it is, why we use it in the classroom, all of that. So we're going to start with a quote: "Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all." So what is SEL? SEL is the process in which children acquire and use skills to understand and manage their emotions. And those are two very different things, right? Understanding your emotions versus managing your emotions. As you just saw, some kids have those skills and some don't. We want to set and achieve positive goals. We want kids to be able to empathize with others, form positive relationships, and make responsible decisions. So this is a graphic put out by Castle that basically puts those 5 segments of social emotional learning. So they are self-awareness, self-management, relationship skills, social awareness, and responsible decision making. So how do we get kids to be able to do those things? So that first bubble is in our classrooms. We should have some type of curriculum. We have one here at Clinton Central called Second Steps. And then within our school, what do we have within our school that kind of reinforces these 5 things? It's the way in which we talk to kids when they get sent to the office. We have lifelines like effort, responsibility, respect that kids can get awards for throughout the school year. And then obviously we want that last bubble. We want that to translate to home. We want to see that out in our communities and have positive relationships with families that come in and out and be able to kind of help make them aware. If we notice a family that is struggling in this area, we might have family nights and particularly invite them in to help teach them those skills as well. So there are different competencies for this that are over here on this tree. I'm not going to read them all to you, but there's a variety of sample strategies that teachers can use in the classroom. These competencies are going to utilize the most current brain research you've probably heard of, growth mindset, things like that. The latest social emotional research, trauma-informed practices. You might hear some schools say they're trauma-informed schools, and then how we're being responsive to that culturally as well. So why we need it in our classroom? It's been associated with pro-social behavior, test scores, the skills that students possess. Obviously, and we know this as students, if your mind isn't right, it's hard to be present anywhere else. When students have lower stress, you see lower problem behaviors. When you see kids that have been through a lot of trauma, you will see those behaviors more often. So we need a curriculum that's going to break down some of those barriers that's going to help us equal better success in our schools. These statistics are heartbreaking, and these were done in 2017. But you can see the children in need of services cases doubled in 2 years from 2015 to 2017. And you can only imagine where that is now in 2022 after we've dealt with COVID and kids being home and just everything that kind of caused. But people that have experienced, drugs in the home, parents in jail, this statistic right here is 1/5 of Indiana high school students have seriously considered suicide, things like that. It's just extremely sad. And we've got to be able to, again, know our kids well enough with relationships to kind of be able to identify some of those risk factors and then be able to intervene in a positive way. So here are some adverse childhood experiences. They're also called ACEs, ACE. And basically the risk of people that have had even asthma, that they later in life, the higher your ACEs score is, basically, the higher it is that kids will be drawn towards things like tobacco, marijuana, even suicide, or experience depression, anxiety, go to alcohol or binge drinking, things like that. So anyway, putting this all back to books, there's an author you need to know named Julia Cook, who really does a great job writing books specifically to help kids that have gone through hard things, or that maybe even haven't, but need to understand their peers around them, etc. She has some great books. Some topics that can be addressed through literacy: fear, honesty, grieving, bullying, empathy, confidence, respect, divorce, friendship, expressing their emotions, self-control, etc. Here's several of my absolute favorites. The Invisible String is a really good one if someone in the family dies. The Girl Who Never Made Mistakes, for those kids who are scared to do anything wrong, things like that. Great, great books. And then usually I do a sample read aloud in a lesson with Wilma Jean the Worry Machine, who's a kid who's just worried about everything. And there's a little activity that I have that goes with that usually. And we have some fun over Zoom usually. I'm not going to go through all that right now. This actually came from my counselor. I stole this presentation from her. And there's some great links in here too, to all the standards that teachers are responsible for teaching when it comes to social emotional literacy. But I will stop there. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Again, make sure you send me your partner and do those directed drawings, take a picture and send those to me. Bye guys.